Hey there. Something comes up all the time when I'm coaching clients over 40. It's that feeling, that frustrating sense that belly fat just seems to stick around no matter what you try. So today, we're going to get into why that happens and more importantly, talk about a smarter, way more sustainable approach to feeling strong and energetic for good.
Does this sound familiar? You've probably noticed that the things that used to work just don't anymore, right? A little extra cardio here, cutting back on a few things there, that used to get results back in your 20s or 30s. But now, it feels like it barely moves the needle. And it is so frustrating when you feel like you're putting in all this effort and not seeing the results you want.
Well, the very first thing I want you to know is this. You are absolutely not alone. This is such a normal part of the aging process. It is not a personal failure, and it's definitely not a sign that you've lost your discipline. There are really clear, understandable biological reasons for this shift. And once we get what they are, we can start to work with our bodies instead of fighting against them. Okay, so let's dive into it. To really understand the solution, we've got to get clear on the problem first. So what is actually changing in our bodies after 40 that makes losing fat feel so different all of a sudden? It really just boils down to four main things that start to shift as we get a little older. First, we see a natural decline in our muscle mass. Second, our stress levels and a hormone called cortisol tend to go up. Third, our sleep patterns can get a little rocky. And fourth, well, our lifestyles often just become less active. Each one of these plays a really big role. So let's kick things off with the biggest one of all, muscle loss. Get this. After you hit 30, you can lose anywhere from 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every single decade if you're not actively doing something to maintain it. This whole process actually has a name. It's called sarcopenia, and it is the #1 reason our metabolism starts to slow down.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. Your muscle is your body's metabolic engine. It's the tissue that burns the most calories, even when you're just sitting on the couch. So it makes sense, right? A bigger, more powerful engine burns more fuel, even when it's just idling. As we naturally lose a bit of that muscle, our metabolic engine just starts to run a little bit slower, which means we burn fewer calories at rest. All right, next up, cortisol. We all know what stress feels like, but let's talk about what it's actually doing inside our bodies. Midlife often comes with more responsibilities. You've got work, home, family. It can all lead to this low-grade chronic stress. This keeps our cortisol levels high. And one of cortisol's main jobs is to tell the body to store energy. And unfortunately, it has a real preference for storing that energy as fats, right around our belly. And on top of all that, these factors get even more powerful when you add in changes to sleep and movement. Poor sleep messes with the very hormones that control our appetite. And at the same time, our modern lives often mean we're just sitting more and moving less. It really does create kind of a perfect storm for fat storage. But, and this is the most important thing I want you to hear today, this is not your destiny. I love this quote. Your body isn't broken because of your age, it is broken because of inactivity. Our bodies are incredibly adaptable. The problem isn't your age, it's just that the lifestyle that worked before might not match what your body needs to thrive right now.
Okay, so with all that in mind, let's look at some of the really common mistakes people make when they try to fix this problem. So often, we just double down on the old strategies that used to work, but now they're not just ineffective, they can actually make things a little bit worse.
The old advice was always so simple, right? Just eat less, move more. But after 40, that approach can really backfire. Let's walk through a few of these common mistakes and then look at the smarter alternatives that actually work with your body. So the first big mistake is thinking that more and more cardio is the answer. Now, don't get me wrong, cardio is fantastic for your heart, but spending hours and hours on the treadmill doesn't actually fix the root cause of the problem, which is muscle loss. In fact, too much intense cardio can sometimes even raise your cortisol. It's just not a complete strategy for revving up your metabolic engine for the long term. And mistake number 2 is crash dieting. When you slashed your calories way down, your body doesn't just burn fat. It can start breaking down your precious muscle for energy, which is the exact opposite of what we want. This can slow your metabolism down even more, which makes it that much harder to keep the weight off, and usually leads to that frustrating rebound effect.
Okay, so we have talked about the why, and we've talked about the what not to do. So now let's get to the good stuff, the most important part. A clear, actionable plan for what you should do. And this isn't about quick fixes. It's about building habits that will last a lifetime. This is it. This is the 5-part framework that tackles every single factor we just talked about. It's a holistic approach that truly works with your body's physiology. So let's break down each of these steps.
Step 1 is the absolute foundation. It is non-negotiable. You have to prioritize strength training. It is the single most powerful tool we have to fight back against muscle loss. Lifting weights, or even just using your own body weight, sends this incredibly powerful signal to your body to build and hold on to that metabolic muscle, which keeps your engine running strong. Step 2 is to add in daily low-impact movement. Think brisk walks, maybe hopping on a bike or going for a swim. This is movement at a pace where you could still hold a conversation. It's amazing for teaching your body to get better at using fat for fuel, and it's great for your heart, all without jacking up your stress hormones. All right, let's talk food. Instead of just focusing on cutting calories, I want you to focus on what you're adding in. And that means prioritizing protein. Protein is absolutely key. It gives you the building blocks to repair and grow muscle. It is super filling, so it helps you manage hunger, and it's crucial for helping you recover from your workouts. And finally, we have to start treating sleep and stress with the same importance as our workouts and our nutrition. They are not optional extras. They are essential. Getting consistent quality sleep and finding healthy ways to manage stress, maybe that's meditation or yoga or just taking 10 quiet minutes for yourself, that directly helps regulate the hormones that control everything from fat storage to appetite. So as we start to wrap this up, I really want to reframe the goal here. Yes, of course, reducing some belly fat is a great goal for your health. But the big picture, the big picture is so much more inspiring than that. Because at the end of the day, this journey isn't just about how you look in the mirror. It's about how you feel and what you are able to do. The real prize is building a body that is strong and resilient and full of energy. One that gives you the freedom to travel, to play with your grandkids, and just live with total vitality for decades and decades to come. This quote just perfectly captures the mindset shift we need. It's not about chasing maximum output in every single workout anymore. It's about building sustainable strength and mobility. It's about finding a consistent rhythm of movement and recovery that you can actually stick with for the long haul. That right there is the real secret. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Don't feel like you have to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Just ask yourself, what is one small, sustainable habit you can start today to build that stronger, more energetic future? Maybe it's just a 15-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's adding some protein to your breakfast. Just start small, be consistent, and know that you are making an incredible investment in yourself. Thanks so much for watching.